Alright, good evening ladies. In today's video I want to discuss DeFi on Solana and why it could be an absolutely enormous opportunity. If any of you were around in the summer of 2020, you would have remembered the likes of Curve, YFI, Maker, even Chainlink absolutely pumping, doing extraordinarily well. People getting these crazy APYs in these new DeFi protocols, and that of course was DeFi summer, but that was on Ethereum. And not only did all those particular tokens I mentioned pump to the moon and everyone making these crazy APYs back in that time, but also Ethereum itself really became established. It went from being an altcoin into becoming in the same league as Bitcoin. So now whenever anyone talks about creating a crypto portfolio, they used to say, okay, Bitcoin and then whatever altcoins you like, and now they say Bitcoin, Ethereum and whatever altcoins you like. And that was all because of DeFi Summer. It was the first proven real use case of Ethereum. Now, could this happen to Solana? That's exactly what I wanted to find out when I was researching this video. And why exactly am I looking at DeFi on Solana at this particular moment in time? So the first reason I'm looking at DeFi on Solana right now is because I'm starting to get extraordinarily bullish on Solana. If you saw one of my more recent videos, it was one of my most popular videos in a while, and it shows that a lot of people are interested in Solana, and that's a great thing. I think Solana is going to do extremely well in the next bull cycle. I think Solana will outperform Ethereum in the next bull cycle, so being able to take some DeFi positions on Solana when the market for these DeFi protocols on Solana is minuscule in comparison to the DeFi protocols on Ethereum. I'll show you a few examples of that. But potentially betting on or investing in or using some of these protocols nice and early, it's like investing in Solana on steroids. The second big reason I'm looking at DeFi on Solana right now is because there's still massive opportunities for airdrops. And I'll share some of the platforms and some of the protocols that are likely to have airdrops. Who knows when, but they haven't released a coin yet and they're going to. So airdrop is very much likely. So make sure, if you want to see that, watch all the way through the video. Third and final reason why I'm getting interested in DeFi on Solana right now is I believe that there's going to be some hype around this narrative. I don't know when, but I think at some point, I think sooner rather than later, this category could take off a little bit. There's starting to be some whispers, like there's absolutely no competition or very little competition for DeFi on Solana. Not a huge amount of people researching this stuff, not a huge amount of people investing in these projects, but there's a lot of projects being built, and there's a lot of great projects being built that we'll discuss in this video. There's a lot of airdrops to be farmed. And some gigabrain chads that I follow on Twitter, like Ansem, have been discussing this. So there's whispers of DeFi Summer on Solana happening soon. This could potentially be a very big narrative in the upcoming future. So first, I just want to give you a few comparisons, just so you get an idea of the scale of DeFi on Solana right now, how tiny it really is. So this shows the biggest AMMs, the biggest dexes on Solana right now. So the biggest one is called Orca in liquidity volume. So Orca, which is the Uniswap on Solana, has a market cap of $18 million, and the fully diluted valuation is $80 million. So for comparisons, the Uniswap market cap is about $5 billion. So that's 250 times the size of Orca in market cap terms. And when you kind of think about it, the market cap of Solana is only 20 times smaller than the market cap of Ethereum. So why is the market cap of the DeFi project, the biggest DeFi project, 250 times smaller? Now, another example is Solend, which is kind of like the Lido of Solana. So let's just stake your Solana and get staked SOL in return. So very similar to Lido, but the market cap for Solend is $40 million, whereas the market cap for Lido, the governance token, is almost $2 billion. So again, almost like a couple of hundred times in the difference in those market caps. So you can see like the market caps here, the opportunity is enormous. However, it's like people don't really trade tokens on the Orca Finance DEX. Everyone likes using Ethereum because that's where the liquidity is. So like trading tokens on Uniswap on Ethereum, like that's like if you create a coin, if you create it on Ethereum, that's where you're going to get the most volume, the most liquidity. So there is a reason why this market cap is much, much lower. Like the Solana tokens obviously don't have as much value, but potentially in the future they could. Now we have to admit that the total value locked on Solana is not very high. It's pretty tiny, but in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, total value lock isn't one of the best indicators that you can use for a chain. Probably one of the best indicators is active users. So if you look at this list, obviously Ethereum has the biggest TVL and Solana's all the way down at number 11 with only $300 million in total value locked. However, when you look at the monthly active addresses, you can see Solana is in the top 3 and only a little bit behind Tron and BNB chain. So even though the total value locked, which it's not a great indicator, but it is very low on Solana, even with that, we do have an extremely high number of people actually using Solana, and there are some good dApps on Solana which we'll discuss further on in the video. But I also want to show you this is from Invest Answers. These are all the layer 1 cryptocurrencies sorted by daily active users, and Solana has almost 1 million daily active users and almost 26 million daily transactions. And he's created a chart here. So if you see the second last column on the right, you can see the valuation, so like the market cap of that coin divided by the number of daily active users. So for Solana, each daily active user is worth $12,000. But even though that seems extraordinarily high, and it probably is quite high, you can see it's actually still the lowest out of the bunch. And this is it charted, so you can see it a bit more clearly. You can see the smaller it is, the better, and Solana has the smallest market cap in comparisons to its users. Alright, so now I'm going to run through all the different applications, all the different kind of DeFi applications that you can use right now on Solana. So either they have a coin, so you can invest in them right now, or you can use the applications in the hopes that we'll be getting an airdrop for using these applications. So there's a couple of different strategies you can use to be able to get these airdrops, or find whichever platform you like the best that you could invest in for extra returns on your Solana. So the first thing you can do, like one of the main things you can do on Solana, is stake your Solana. So Solana uses proof of stake, meaning you can put up your Solana and earn like up to 6% yield on it. Now there's a couple of different platforms where you can deposit your Solana and you get either MSOL or stake SOL in return. So you can go ahead, stake the Solana, so you're using one application, and then you get staked SOL in return, and then you can use that stake SOL as margin or collateral to go to use a different platform. So with the same money, you're staking it and you're earning interest on it, and then you can use that staked Solana to go ahead and use other platforms and perhaps margin trade with it. So let's go through a few of those platforms that you can do that. So firstly, to be able to stake your SOL, you can do it on Lido if you want, so to get staked SOL, but obviously with Lido, there's no chance you'll be able to get an airdrop. You can use another website called Marinade and you get MSOL in return. So for those two platforms, if you use either of them, you get MSOL or staked SOL, and these two versions of SOL can be used pretty much throughout every DeFi application. So if you want to like get quite complicated and go deep, either use stake SOL or MSOL. So Marinade or Lido, get some of that Solana. So stake your Solana, you're going to be earning good interest on it, and then you can go ahead and use it in the following applications. But if you just want to stake your Solana, there's a new platform called Sol Blaze. So if you go ahead and stake your Solana on Sol Blaze, you'll be getting BSOL, called BSOL. And why would you use this one instead of the other two if it's so small? It's because this one doesn't have a coin yet. So there's the possibility you could get an airdrop. And obviously you don't have to pick one or the other. You could go ahead and put a little bit of SOL in one of them and a little bit of SOL in the other if you want to get an airdrop for Sol Blaze. If you want to get the Sol Blaze airdrop, stake a little bit of Solana there. And if you want to get a bit of stake Solana, go to Marinade or go to Lido, stake your Solana, and let's go. What we're going to do with our MSOL or our stake SOL, what's the next application we can use? And the next application we'll talk about is called MarginFi, and this application is just probably what you'd guess. It's a borrow lend platform, and there's a very high likelihood of an airdrop with this platform. However, when I went onto it, when I'm doing the research for this video, the borrow and lend for MSOL and stake SOL was at full capacity. So keep an eye on it for yourself, but when I looked at it, it's unfortunately at full capacity, so you can't borrow or lend on this platform. in the hopes for an airdrop. So unfortunately that platform is full, but if you do want to take your MSOL and borrow USDC against it, and we'll talk about what you can do with that USDC in a moment, but if you do want to go ahead and do this, of course you can use the platform we discussed at the start, Solend, but this already has a coin, so there's not going to be an airdrop for it. But so let's say you have $1,000 worth of Solana. So you've gone ahead, you've staked it, you've received your staked SOL or your MSOL. So you have $1,000 worth of MSOL. Now you go to Solend and you put it up as collateral, and now you can borrow, let's say $500. So 500 USDC is now sitting in your wallet, and you still have your Solana staking there, earning you yield. So what can we go ahead and do with this? With this USDC, we could go ahead and buy more Solana and rinse and repeat the process and be a total degenerate. Do that as many times as you like. So go ahead, buy $500 worth of Solana, stake it, and continue the process. That's a little bit degen. The next platform we could go ahead and use is Drift, and this is a leverage trading platform. So it's kind of like the GMX on Solana. So if you want to go ahead and bet on Bitcoin's price going up and down, margin trading, or whichever of these coins prices going up or down, long, short, up to 10x, you can take this money, you can go leverage trade it on Drift. And another nice thing about Drift is they don't have a coin yet, so of course there's a possibility of an airdrop with this platform. So it seems like a good platform in the fact that its UI is good and it looks pretty simple to use. Now obviously, because Solana is so cheap, like interacting with all these protocols is going to cost you virtually nothing in gas, which is a really nice thing. Like when you are farming airdrops on Ethereum, it's very expensive on gas if you're doing a lot of transactions. With Solana, it's virtually free. There's pretty much no competition. Very few people are doing this right now. The risk to reward is massive. Like, it's not a guaranteed, it's not a sure thing whatsoever, and I wouldn't be using my main wallet with a huge amount of Solana in there to interact with all these fresh and new protocols or put a huge amount of money in any of them right yet. However, I do think if you have the time, if you have the patience, if you have the interest, experimenting with these platforms could be a really, and potentially investing in some of these coins and some of these platforms could be a really interesting opportunity. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching, appreciate all the comments, and I really hope you learned something. Thanks, see ya.